So good afternoon to one and all. This is Harita doing PhD under the guidance of Dr. P. Shanmugavadipu. So today I'm just going to give some exercises related to the chatbot. Before going to the actual concepts, let me just give some intro related to the topic. So let's start. So here, chatbot that we are using in our day-to-day life, like Alexa, Siri. So these are all some of the examples for chatbots that they will be reacting like humans. So this is what the concept behind chatbot. So chatbot is nothing but chat plus robot is said to be chatbot. So here the mission is trying to be imitated like a human. So this is what the concept behind chatbot, so that some it could reduce us some queries, like if we can easily contact and ask queries related to the products, right? So this is what the main usage of chatbot. So let's discuss evolution of chatbots. So like initially chatbot was developed. So there limited commands were used, that if we had given a query previously, in the sense we will be giving some answers, so the answers will be related to the query that has given earlier. Okay, so this is what the traditional concept that were run behind the chatbot. So this is what the initial phase while the chatbot was designed. So there will be some queries and it will be consisting of answers. So if we are asking the queries, in the sense the answers will be appearing accordingly. So this is the first traditional chatbot that was introduced. And next, current chatbots, in the sense they will be concentrating related to the task. So tasks, in the sense if we are asking some queries, in the sense they will be analyzing. Based on the analysis, the output will be displayed. Like based on the analysis, the answers or replies will be coming back to us. So intermediate communication is nothing but for about 7 or 10 messages, we may not identify that the opposite one is mission. So it will be imitating like a human. Okay, so this is what the intermediate communication, that it resembles like a human. So next is future bots. So future bots is the combination of the past two chatbots. So initially the questions and answers were given, and next based on the analysis, the output were displayed, and next they will be just analyzing the patterns of the messages or replies given by the customers. So this is what the future bots. So this is the evolution of chatbots. And next we are going for types of chatbots. So chatbots is having two types, so rule based one and self learning bots. So rule based, here we may not handle some complex queries. So complex queries, in the sense if we are going for some analysis, in the sense we cannot play those matters. But in case if we are using for going for self learning bots, in the sense we will be handling some machine learning algorithms in order to make some analysis. Okay, so that they can answer the questions accordingly. So next, again, from the self-learning bots, there were two types. So generative bots, retrieval bots. So here in generative bots, they will be generating the replies, but we cannot get exact answers as per the queries. So next we are going for retrieval bots. So retrieval bots, in the sense, so there will be some predefined responses will be there. In addition to that, if we are searching for a content, but the exact content is not present, but likely a content is present, in the sense it will be retrieving. So this is what the retrieval bot. And next, so for building a chatbot, we are using NLTK. Not only NLTK, there were so many packages for building a chatbot. As if now, let us discuss about the building a chatbot with the help of NLTK package. So other than that, there were packages like Rasa for building a chatbot, and Dialogflow. These are all some of the domains to develop chatbot. So here NLTK, so NLTK stands for Natural Language Toolkit. So here all such kind of data processing has been done. So classification is nothing but if we need to classify the sentence, like if we are finding some common words, we need to remove such common words, means we can do with the help of classification. And similarly, tokenization in the sense, if we need to split each and every word, in the sense we can do. And stemming is nothing but stemming in the sense, if I am saying caring, in the sense, the root word is said to be care, right? So this is what stemming. And here parsing and lemmatization is also performed. And while going for basic pre-processing, so while before going for the processing, we are going for pre-processing. So here we are going to handle chatbot. In the case of text, in the sense, we need to apply some pre-processings. So for that, initially we need to do case conversion. So case conversion is nothing but we are just going to convert the whole context into either uppercase or as well as lowercase according to the user's point of view. Okay. So next we are going for tokenization. So tokenization, here each and every word will be tokenized, that is said to be word tokenization. And sentence tokenization is nothing but we are tokenizing each and every sentence. So this is sentence tokenization. And next, for NLTK tokenizer, we are using punct tokenizer. So it will be removing the commas. Based on the commas, the word will be tokenized. So this is what the use of punct tokenizer. So here stop words means we will be handling the, is, are. So these are all some of the stop words that they are predefined one, so they will be removed. And stemming, so stemming, as I said earlier, so if we are using like if we are going for a root word, in the sense, we can go through the help of stemming. And lemmatization is nothing but, so good, better, best. So these three words resembles a single meaning, that is said to be good, right? So this is the concept of lemmatization. So while we are handling this kind of pre-processing and as well as tokenizer, these four concepts are important to consider the processing. So next is bag of words. So this is nothing but, so we are going to change the entire sentences or text into numerical format in order to perform certain machine learning tasks, so that we are using bag of words concept. Here you could see the input has been given, I do not like chocolates, and the required vectorization is I like chocolates. So here you could see I is there and do is not there. So required vectorization has been given. Based on the required vectorization, we are just placing the vectors, right? So do is not present in the required vectorization, so the place is filled with 0. So this is said to be binary bag of words. So likewise, this bag of words is used. And next, TF-IDF formula. So here TF-IDF formula is nothing but it will be identifying how far the one particular word is related to the whole document. Okay, so whole document, in the sense, if we are having say call has been appeared so many times in the document, means what will be the frequency. So these are all some of the numerical calculations that has been performed. So here the formula for TF is number of times a term appears divided by total terms in document. So this is what the formula. And here IDF formula is also given. So while we are seeing the example, a document with 500 words and the word call appears 10 times, in the sense we are calculating the term frequency. And next we are going for inverse document frequency. So here 10 lakh documents and the word call appears in 16,000 documents. So this way we are calculating the term frequency value, inverse document frequency value. And next, while we are combining that, we will be occurring with a weight, right? So for calculating weight, we will be multiplying the term frequency into inverse document frequency. With this, we can allocate the weight for a particular term that has been occurred in a document. Okay, so this is all about the introduction part. So now let me take you straight away to the coding part related to the chatbot. So now we are going to apply all those basic concepts and basic pre-processing into the development of chatbot. So please wait, let me share the screen. Hope this tab is visible to you all. I think so. So for building a chatbot, we need some libraries, right? So as I said, NLTK. So here, NLTK, random, and string. These are all some of the required libraries to run a chatbot. So initially we are running. And next, yes. So here, for running a chatbot, we need some data set, or as well as we need some content. What is the purpose of getting chatbot? In the sense, we need to handle certain text document, right? For that, we are going to create a text document. So here, as I had included chatbot.txt, right? This chatbot.txt consisting of text related to the chatbot that has been copied from Wikipedia. So let me you can just go to the Wikipedia and you can just search chatbot. There you just select all the passages given in the Wikipedia. You just make it a copy and open your notepad. Just paste as it is and save it as chatbot.txt. After that, you just go to this file and next you are going to upload this chatbot.txt into it, and now let's start the process. Okay, so initially, as I had specified, we are going to read the data. For that, we are including chatbot. So let me share the screen of the data set that I had collected. I think this notepad is visible to you all. I think so. So here the entire content is related to the chatbot that was copied from the Wikipedia. Now I had considered this as the data set. Okay. So here I had meant this entire document as corpus. So here there were some contents related to chatbot. So this is what the data set that I had given uploaded. As you all know that we can code Python in Colab. As per this, I had code this full content related to the chatbot, and I just saved. Now let's all go to the process. So here, now initially, as I had read the content from the chatbot, and next, while we are discussing pre-processing, we need to do case conversion, right? So as per case conversion, as I had just converted the entire characters into lowercase letters, so that I had used lowercase. Here I had used Punkt package as I had downloaded, and WordNet. This is a pre-trained library that is available in NLTK package, and here we had performed sentence tokenization. For sentence tokenization, this nltk.sent_tokenize is used. Here we had just passed this variable, this raw consisting of the entire context that is available from the chatbot.txt. Okay, so here we had performed the word tokenization. So as we had discussed the basic process, right? So in the basic process, we had discussed word tokenization, sentence tokenization, case conversion. As per those concepts, we had applied. And next we are going for lemmatization. So lemmatization is nothing but if good, bad, better. These three means a single meaning that it is said to be good, right? So as per this content, we had coded this lemmatization. And next, yes, so next, while we are going for chatbot, we will be initially saying hi, right? So if we say hi in the sense, the chatbot needs to reply like good morning, good afternoon, right? Likewise, we will be giving the inputs. So here, while the chatbot receives hello, hi, greetings, what's up, hey. If the chatbot is receiving these content in the sense, it needs to respond. So it needs to respond, hey, hi, hey there, hello. I am glad you are talking to me. So this is what the conversation that should be given as a response from the chatbot, right? So as per the responses, the user might go for next query, right? So here we had used that random, we had imported the random package, right? So the chatbot will not always say hi while we are saying hello. So it may take some random responses. Like if we are saying hello in the sense, once it may say hey there, it will reply. If we are saying hello again in the sense, it may say I am glad you are talking to me. So these are all based on the concept random. So randomly the responses will be available based on the responses given here. Okay. And next we are going for TFID. As I said, right, how far a word is related in a document. And next, while the responses is given, if we are giving the queries that was not related to the data set that we had given in the sense, it may reply that I am sorry, I don't understand. So this is what the content. If it is giving the query is related to the data set in the sense, it will surely give reply. Otherwise, it will be specifying I am sorry. So this is the next code that we had performed. And next, at last, so here, so while we are initiating chatbot, it will just introduce itself. So here you could see chatbot, my name is sample chatbot. So this is what the intro that is given by the chatbot. So it is just specifying if you want to quit, just say bye. So it will be quit. So this is what the initial content available, and based on the responses the chatbot will give reply. Say I am just giving hey. So it is saying I am glad you are talking to me, and next I am giving hey. So hello, while it is saying hello. So this way the random replies will be there. And next, so I had given the document. There I am searching a word Turing. I am just searching a word. So now what? Alan Turing is a famous article. So we had discussed we had discussed the kinds of self-learning bots, right? So there the retrieval concept is applied, right? Retrieval concept is nothing but it may not take the exact replies based on the queries, but it will be just retrieving some likely responses, right? Based on the responses, it has been specified in this particular sentence. So if I am saying that completely which is not related, so let me say, so I had asked what is physics. So this is not the content available in the data set. So it is replying, I'm sorry, I don't understand. So again, I'm saying why, in the sense, it may reply, thanks for talking. So this way the chatbot will reply. So this is what the content that we need to incorporate. So we need to do all those basic pre-processing in order to make a chatbot. So as of now, as I had displayed you a simple chatbot making with the help of NLTK package, we can also make good chatbots other than this NLTK package. We can use Rasa. So for that, you need to install that Visual Studio Code C++. So these are all some of the content related to the concepts, basics of NLP, and that's all about my side. And next, I would like to invite my sister Kalpana Devi to continue. Thank you all.
So congratulations, Harita.
Thank you, ma'am.
Yeah, it was a lively presentation, and you were able to show how it exactly works.
Thank you, ma'am.
With the live example as well. Congratulations to you. I wish you all success in your research.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you,
That
ma'am.
you're pursuing in the light of natural language processing.
Thank you, ma'am.
Congratulations.
Shiva Shankar
So
sir,
before
thank you so
we
much.
could invite, yeah. So before we could invite Mrs. Kalpana to present her session, there's a kind of information to be passed on to all the participants. And I request you all, after this session that is about to start, to be given by Mrs. Kalpana. After this, we may take a short break before we could start the valedictory program. And I understand you have a lot of difficulties, problems to remain online, but however, please make it a point to stay online during the valedictory session. Your attendance is very important because that really counts. So please make it convenient to be available online. It may last for about, say, 20 minutes or 25 minutes, not more than half an hour. And please stay connected and give your cooperation in conducting the valedictory session in the best possible way. Thank you, everyone. So now over to Mrs. Kalpana to proceed. Thank you.
Good evening to everyone. Good evening to everyone. So I am Kalpana Devi. I am the PhD SS scholar. I am doing a PhD under the guidance of Dr. M. Mary Shanti Rani ma'am from Gandhigram Rural Institute. So now I am going to present hands-on training on medical image analysis. So artificial intelligence. So in medical healthcare, we are using this artificial intelligence. So it is one of the field to use in healthcare to make give the affordability, quality, and accessibility by using a number of technologies, emerging technologies, and it's also gain increasing attention due to for data classification with future extraction problem. So health management and also diagnosis strategy based on the deep learning techniques, it becomes an important part of a system's operations life cycle. So artificial intelligence is plays a main role in medical diagnosis. So diabetic retinopathy. So in my medical image area is diabetic retinopathy. So it is one of the eye disease. It is commonly affecting diabetic patients. So there are two stages, NPDR and PDR. So non-proliferative diabetic retinopathy and proliferative diabetic retinopathy. This appears when a patient have the high blood sugar level, and it's also damages the retina and it stop working because a normal eye have the continuous blood flow in our retina vessels, blood vessels. But when a patient affected by this diabetic retinopathy, the retina have the damages and it's also stop working. That is, the blood flows will be stopped and the block will appear in the retina blood vessels. And it's also it does not have the noticeable symptoms until it has reached an advanced stage. So we need a early screening and a timely treatment of the same. We can reduce the burden of sight-threatening retinopathy. So that's why we need artificial intelligence to apply and find out the early stages diseases in that area, medical applications. So diabetic retinopathy images. So normal retina we have like this normal retina, and when a diabetic patient is affected by this disease, our eye have appear like this. That is in early stages it displayed like a normal red dots in our retina. That is called as microaneurysm, edema, and exudates. And it's also in severe stage there are some cotton wool spots appear in a eye. That is called as cotton wool spots, and it's also new vascularization are also appear. That is, it create abnormal blood vessels in our eye. So these are the stages of our diabetic retinopathy disease. So in microaneurysm, it is the early stages, and exudates are the severe stages. So in severe stages, it creates vision loss in a diabetic patients. So in medical image, so in deep learning, we have one of the model, one of the technique that is called as data augmentation. It is also one of the technique to increase the training data size when we have a smaller data set. So that time, if we want to expand the size of training data set, we provide a data space solution to the problem of limited data. So types of techniques, these are flip, rotation, shear, scale, crop, translation, Gaussian noise, like this. So need of data augmentation. So why we need? So to increase the size of our small data set, that time we apply this technique, data augmentation. And also we want to increase the diversity of data. That means if we want to, we need different dimensions of image. At the time, we increase the diversity of data by using this type of technique. And it's also to perform the transformation like shearing and scaling. So that transformation are also done by using this data augmentation. It also create some generalizability of the model. And the main reason by using this data augmentation, we also reduce the overfit. So examples of augmentations are one of the example I give. So one original image of retina, normal, diseased image, that image applied by the augmentation technique, and it generate more than one augmented images with different dimensions. So this is the example. ஷேர் பண்ணனும் ஹரிதா.
Congratulations to Mrs. Kalpana.
நான் ஷேர்
Yeah.
பண்ணேன். அவசரப்படக்கூடாது.
Amma, இன்னும் முடிஞ்சிச்சா இல்ல இருக்கா?
Ma'am, session
Are you done with your presentation, Mrs. Kalpana? Or they have... Okay, okay. Please go ahead.
Ma'am, here I having ma'am. இந்த Chrome tab தானே. இந்த augmentation classification எழுதுங்க. ஒண்ணொண்ணு தான் பண்ண முடியும். First augmentation பண்றீங்களா? So, ma'am, have you here? So this is the augmentation hands-on session for image generation of the images. So here, so we have the Colab, Google Colab. In Google Colab, we are executing this augmentation technique. That is so first we are uploading the images in sample data directory. So here image 0 test.jpeg. So this is one of the image. We are augmenting this image has more than one images. So there are types of different types of techniques. So first one is a horizontal shift image augmentation. From NumPy, we are expand the dimension of the image. So we have the images and we are get the from this augmentation we are also get the different dimensions of the image. So from the Keras pre-processing applications library, from the Keras library, we are doing some pre-processing by loading the images and we are converting the images into array. And in data augmentation, we must have the base class, that is the image data different section. So we first load the image, then we are copy the path from this sample data working directory and say that paste it at, and we convert into array, so image to array. Then we are expand the dimensions to one sample. So one image is to be augmented with different dimensions. So the image data generator we are using. So we create image data generator with a shift image augmentation, that is width, height, width. It should be shifted by the images. That is the pixels are clipping from by using this the pixels are clipping in this type of augmentation. So the width shift range we are giving as -200 200. So that is used to shifting the images in the scale of 200 -200 to 200. So we got the output like this. So in the range of 9, we are with shift range argument between -200 200 and pixels. We have generate a plot by using this pyplot.subplot, and it's also converted into unsigned integers for viewing the images. And it's also we are plotting the raw pixel data by using the image show argument. So pyplot.show used to show the images, augmented images in a shifting with the height basis and the width basis. Then next type of augmentation is horizontal and vertical flip augmentation. It is used to reversing the rows or columns of pixels in our images. If you want to reverse the rows or columns of pixels, means we can use this horizontal and vertical flip augmentation. So normally we are importing the packages from Keras libraries, and we are loading the images and we are converting into the array format, and the base class will also be uploaded, and we are uploading the image, simple image from the directory sample data to augment. Then so the image will be converted into array. Then we are expand the dimensions, and the expansion of the dimension in the order of horizontal flip. So horizontal flip used to reversing the rows or columns of pixels in our image. So here backspace are also represented as 1, and subplot are also used to view the images in a scale wise scaled order. So and it's also converted into unsigned integers for viewing, and it's also pyplot.show used to display the images horizontal and vertical flipping with the augmentation. Third type of augmentation is random rotation augmentation. So name itself have the meaning, that is rotation. So we can rotate the image in the order of 0 degree to 360 degree. So we are import the packages, we saw it. So that's why we are also import the packages, and we load the image from the sample data directory and convert into array, and we are expand the dimension. So in base class, we are representing the rotation range is 90 degree. So we are rotate the image we are augment the image in the rotation value degree of 90 degree. So here, so the data generator generate the images in the degree of 90 degree. So it is also solved by the using a matplotlib subplot. So another one of the technique is brightening augmentation. If we want to brighten the pixels, if you want to, we are brightening the images, means we are using this type of technique. We also know the Keras application, Keras libraries, and is also import the load the images from the sample data directory, convert into the array, and it's also brightness range we are giving us 2.0, 1.0. So normally values larger than 1.0, it used to brighten the image. If you want to give the 0.5, it display the it will display the darkened images. So like this, it is also created, and it's also so if you want to execute the cell, we got the we will get the output from this technique. So we are have the image, but we this type of augmentation technique, augmentation technique, brightening the images, and it's also augmenting the images. So this is the one of the model to augment how we are augmenting the images. So we are next hands-on program is how we are how we are classify our own data set with data augmentation and pre-processing. So here we are already we are already have Google Colab, and we must mount the drive, and it's also we have the data we have the mount drive. So in my drive we have the data set. So in my the area, so I have the diabetic, so we will see the diabetic retinopathy classification. So classification of DR. So here I have the DR images, training set and testing set. So in training set, I splitted the images into microaneurysm and healthy images. So first of all, we must split training set and testing set. So training set have the normal images and diseased images, and it's also testing set 3 also have the normal images and diseased images. So first we must split the normal and abnormal images. So from this training and testing, we apply this libraries and also perform the pre-processing augmentation. After that, we got the accuracy performance metrics. So each image have the training and testing split have the ratio of 70% to 30% or 80% to 20%. So I also splitted like that. So from that, we are also having the first we mount the drive for uploading our training set and testing set files for images. From then we will import the library of our model, that is Matplotlib, Seaborn, Keras. So Keras also import the sequential dense convolution layers to perform the classification, and it's also image data generator used to pre-process the image. After that, we are augmenting that image. So optimizer also used to calculate the loss function. From sklearn matrix, so performance matrix display the how true positive and true negatives. So these are used to estimate how much what are the percentage we have true positive of the disease or not healthy, not diseased in that image. So these two are displayed by using this confusion matrix. So TensorFlow, CV2, OS are also the packages it is imported to pre-processing the images. So I have the in my training set and testing set, we are having the MA images, microaneurysm images, and healthy images. So these two images is to be defined with the labels of healthy and microaneurysm MA. So these are the two division spots of the training set 3 data set and testing set 3 data set. So the image size defaultly, so when we are applying this image data augmentation techniques, we are represented as 224, and we are getting the data from train and also we also get data used to create our train and validation data set from our training set and testing set. So here then the path will be joined under the number classes of or declared with the index values, and the image array is used to read the images, and it's also converted into if you give the black and white image, it will be converted into RGB format by using this image read function in CV2. Then we are reshaping the images to preferred size, and this resized array are also used to resize the image. Then we are fetch our train and testing data by using this get data function. So get data used to copy define the training set and testing set. So we are copy the path from this my drive directory. So here when we are right clicking this the menu, so we are having the copy path option. So the from click this copy path option, it will display the it will paste, it will copy the path, and we have to copy paste in this train. Train is equal to get data. Then other like that testing data are also doing same. Then and also we are displaying the images with a figure size, and the image show this is the in training set, this is the first image. They have the with the displayed with the scaling value, that is 0.5 to 1.0. So here the healthy image is to, it should be appear, it will appear with the coordinate values. So data pre-processing, so we do from this coding, we will do data pre-processing. The first we defined X train, Y train, and X test and Y test in terms of X value and Y validation. And for future and label train, so we first append the data, what are the futures we processing, that are also labeled with the Y train, and also we are normalizing the data, that is we are rescaling the data for pre-processing. It should divided by 255 because we have the value of our RGB color images. So here divided by 255. Then we must reshape the image based on the image size, and it will be stored in array format in Y train, and it should be reshaped. It can reshaped for pre-processing. So after applying this pre-processing, we perform on data augmentation on that image. So we already saw the different techniques of types of data augmentation. So like that, all the types of data augmentation we are also applied in simple single image are also. So here in single model also image data data generator. So feature wise, and we set the initial value 0 to over the data set. And it's also we are using in this coding, we are using the data augmentations, different types of data augmentation, that is rotation, zooming, width shift, and height shift, shifting, flipping. So these 4 augmentation we are defined with the sum of the values to fraction values to perform the augmentation with this certain fraction values. So after that, the image will be augmented with these kinds of dimensions. Then it will store on X train. Then we are applying the Sorry for the interruption. So due to the internet disconnectivity, so from this, I continue. So I continue. So we are having the performance matrix, and it's also having the classification report to display the our model performance. So based on the precision, recall, and F1 score, and we are applying the transfer learning. When we are applying the transfer learning, we are using some of the pre-trained model to process the image with the input shape, and we are also we are also does not include the classification layer, so that's why we give the include tops equal to false. Then we are define the weights using the ImageNet. So the ImageNet is a pre-trained ImageNet is a database which has the 1.4 million images, which is also separated by 1,000 classes. So these give the weights to the MobileNet V2 pre-trained model to perform the metrics. So here base model dot trainable is equal to false, used to freeze the layers. So freezing will also increase the accuracy to in our model. So the diabetic retinopathy disease. So here we are using the in Keras libraries, we are using the global average pooling to convert the features into vectors per image, and it's also dropout we are also add to reduce the overfitting, and the output are also displayed in a subplot by using a subplot and pie plot. Here training, and after using transfer learning, we are having like this kind of visualization with the training and validation accuracy and training and validation loss. So these are the accuracy and losses by using the transfer learning we got for the classification of diabetic retinopathy. So we are also predict the images with the value of X validation. So we must reshape the images 1, -1 and with the index values of 0. It is also produce the classification remote based on the X value. It give report is generated with the help with a combination of Y validation data sets. So predictions whether the image have MA or not. So it is also represented with class 0 and class 1. So the accuracy are also increased compared with previous performance metrics. So after augmenting the images for smaller data set, we if you want to work with transfer learning, means we get the best performance. So from this we are using both augmentation and transfer learning applications for smaller data sets. It provide efficient accuracy and efficient classification performance for any applications. It is good. So thank you to everyone. So from this I can close my session.
Thank you, ma'am, for your presentation. Dear participants, the validation function starts at 3:45 p.m. Kindly join us with us.
Check.
Check.